This is The Gorge. This is a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a game or game-related topic. This week we're back to talking about Persona 4.
Fucking again. Whoops.
Because I beat Persona 5 last night, but I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We're stalling for another week or so.
Yeah. I'm, like, right at the point, you know, where we said we'd be at the spot where, like, we'd be good to talk about P5 again, like, on the podcast. I'm at that spot now, which is, I'm, like, approaching getting Futaba. So, like...
So that's like the halfway point.
Yeah, that's the halfway point. That's the point where, like, you know, you can say you've actually beaten a Persona game once, is when you've beaten it 1.5 times, and I think we've said that here.
Yeah, because the idea is that, like, you beat it once, and then you beat it, like, halfway to remind yourself of what happened in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, because, and to actually initiate social links that you didn't even fucking bother with the first time around, because you just didn't have time. So, or the things. What am I trying to say here? Stats. Social stats.
Your stats? Yeah, you didn't have the stats for it.
Yeah, which is always, I had forgotten, because it has been so long since I've played a new Persona game that, I forgot what it was like to actually start a game with social stats again. It's been so long since I actually, played Persona 4, like, fresh and clean, that when I started P5 without any stats at all, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Am I some sort of peasant?
Well, like, the last time you would have done it was, when we picked up the Golden?
Yeah, so, like, 5 years ago, something like that? Yeah, makes...
Because that, it's like whenever you pick up, like, a remake for a game, and, like, that has a new game, plus, like, I remember when I picked up Chrono Trigger for the DS, and I'm like, oh boy, it'll be really fun to play Chrono Trigger again. Oh wait, I have to actually play the game this time. I can't just cruise through it like I'm used to.
Yeah, you can't just kind of like coast along and try and get your various endings like you do with Chrono Trigger. You know, you have to actually focus, and it's bullshit. Like, I had forgotten the stress of trying to manage your schedule, and then Persona 5 reminded me, like, real hard, like, you don't have enough time to do anything. I'm like, oh my god, no.
I think I got my last skill, my kindness skill, up to rank 5 with, like, 12 days to go in the game.
It's like having the governor pardon you. Like, before the execution, you're just, like, right there. You're like, oh shit, I'm not gonna make it. And then, like, the phone call comes in, and you're like, oh my god, yes! That's what it feels like.
And then I thought about this, no spoilers, I thought about the social link that I wanted to do with that rank 5 kindness, and I'm like, I don't have enough time. Okay, well, never mind.
But we're not talking about Persona 5.
No, we're not.
I know it's hard to, like, not talk about P5 right now, because, like, we're both riding high on that goodness. But we're not. We're talking finally about Persona 4's many, many good and, like, 2 bad social links.
Yes. Like, this is the kind of thing we're going to repeat with when P5, because the games are just both, like, crammed with stuff to talk about.
Oh my god. Like,
so,
like, we're still not done.
We're
still not done with Persona 4 after this podcast, because
there's
still Ultimax and Arena to talk about.
There's still the fighting games. Yeah, so we've still got many more Persona to talk about.
Which is just so pathetic. But whatever. Whatever.
We could just make this a Persona cast. We really, really could.
I mean, we probably could make this a Persona-themed podcast and just release, like, once a month instead. But I got too many video game opinions about other things, so I won't. But it's tempting.
All right.
So yeah, we're talking social links.
Yes. So we already did the party members, so that's like a pretty sizable chunk of social links removed.
There's like 400 party members in that game.
Yeah. That's out of the arc. There's like, how many cards in the Arcana? 22?
22. 23. If you count the new character, like the new social link characters, is it?
Yeah.
20? It's 23 or 24. I think it's 24 in P4. It's 23 in P3P.
Yeah, because they add the Aeon. So it's 22 normally, but they add the Aeon and Jester in 4 golden.
Yeah. So it's 24. Okay. Still, like, absurd number of characters, and the party makes up for a lot of them, and then the Judgment is an automatic one, the Fool is an automatic one, and a handful of other things like that. But still, tons and tons of social links in this game that aren't automatic. So, yeah, it leaves us with a bunch of stuff to talk about. And some of these will go quickly and some of them won't. So,
yeah.
Hold on.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Alright, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
let's get
first,
real nerdy.
I'm just going, like, down the Arcana list. So the first one that's not a automatic one or a party member is the Empress, which is Margaret.
Oh my god, you're so hot. Why is your S-Link the worst? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Margaret's one of the, like, 2 that I've just never completed. And
really?
I've never completed Margaret's because Fusion's hard.
Oh. No, it's not.
Like, I was like, I'll do it in one day, because you can just do it all in one TV World session.
Yeah, for sure. You can do it
and then I got to, like, the 5th or 6th rank, and it's like, go find this obscure persona in Kanji's dungeon to fuse the first ingredient of a 3-way fusion for the persona she needs. And I was like, oh no.
See, because I'm a crazy completionist, like I'm an actual crazy person when it comes to these games, Margaret's was super easy for me because by the time I actually got around to do, like, I did a run because I really wanted the trophy that was, did all of the social links in one run. I really wanted that trophy. I know trophies are totally pointless, but whatever. I really wanted that trophy. So I waited until I was also working on my 100% completion trophy, like compendium completion, and that way it's just like you've got most of the persona you need right there, and at that point it's just a matter of picking skills and training things up, and it's kind of tedious, but I mean, like, I won't say it's fun because it's not. Really...
Well, in the golden, it makes it much easier because you can pick your skills that you want them to inherit, which makes it a lot easier, but
even then, like, it doesn't make it, like, if you have, like, the cards, like, if you have the required skill cards, that makes it a little bit easier, because usually the gimmick is, I want an Ippon Datura with Tsukukaja. That's one of the ones she requests. Like in the golden, that's easier if you have the skill card, but if you don't have the skill card, you're just kind of boned. What you've got to do then is go out and train one of the base persona up to hit a certain level, and then do the fusion, and then select that skill in the fusion. So, like, even in the golden, which is like easy street compared to previous personas, it's still really hard and tedious, and I won't even call it fun, but it's satisfying. It's so satisfying. You just watch that social link gauge fill up, and you're like, yes, I'm so good at this game. Like, that's all it is. It's just a way for me to feel superior. I'm like, they're like, what did you do? I'm like, I got all the social links and completed my compendium. What's up? I'm a Pokemon master, because that's all this is. I caught them all, motherfuckers.
But you want to do it because Margaret's a great character.
Margaret's great, and she gets the only canon kiss if you finish her social link. And I think it's adorable. Yeah. She actually does kiss him on screen, and it's really cute. So, like, I mean, like, it cuts to black, but it still happens, and it's really cute.
Yeah, that's canon.
Yeah, it's canon. Good for you, kid. Get this whatever she is, hot, metaphysical, older lady macking on you. Yeah.
Yeah, make out with this concept.
How baller is the main character of Persona 4? He can make out with concepts, and nobody even blinks an eye.
Well, Igor's watching, which is a little uncomfortable, but
it's cool. Look, don't worry about it.
Igor's cool.
Igor is like the ultimate wingman. Are you kidding me? That's kind of technically what's going on with his, like, social link experience points fusion things, is that he's just being like the ultimate wingman. He's like, look, all of these hot chicks you're hooking up with, you get experience points bonuses with them. Like, thanks, man. I don't even have friends. I don't even have friends that reliable. Are you kidding me? Although, really, if you romance like multiple girls in a Persona run, you're going to hell.
Oh yeah, you're the worst person. Like, don't, bro. Don't really, bro.
Don't be
really?
that guy. Come on.
Like, I'm really glad 4 and 5, like Golden and 5, introduced the Valentine's Day date where you will pay for your actions.
Where you pay for your actions if you mac on every single girl. Like, don't be that guy. Don't let this game corrupt you like that, dude. It's not cool. Like, don't be a monster. They're good. They're good girls. Damn it.
They deserve better than that.
They deserve better than you. Alright, what else about Margaret? Her mask in Ultimax is really dumb.
Really? You don't like it?
I don't like the butterfly mask. I just think it looks really, really dumb. It's really weird.
I love it, because I think it's super gaudy, and it's exactly what she would wear.
You're right. That's probably why you like it and I hate it. I'm just like, it's so gaudy, and you're like, it's so gaudy! You know? Like, it's just two reactions to the exact same thing.
Yep,
it's really tacky. But her character portrait in Ultimax is the hottest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I want to die. Oh my god. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Plus, she does the cool thing where, like, when you knock her down, she doesn't actually, like, collapse. She's just, like, you know, relaxing.
Yeah, her and Elizabeth both, they just kind of both chill out when they get beat up in Ultimax. It's the best. It's like my favorite detail about them. But yeah, like all of the Velvet Assistants are like the best characters universally. They're just really fun. I wish Theodore was playable like really badly in Ultimax.
Yeah,
he's so great, but I guess he's just too gentle of a soul, frankly. He might be too good to take part in a fighting game compared to the other two. He's just too nice. The horrible things it sounds like Margaret and Elizabeth have done to that boy is just traumatic.
That poor kid.
That poor man. Rescue Theo, 2K17.
Right.
Okay. Next.
Moving on is the Hierophant Arcana, which is
Hot Dad
your
Arcana?
Uncle Ryotaro Dojima.
Hot Dad Arcana, cool.
Yep,
that's
there's
all,
one in every game.
Well, I won't say it's not in. I was trying to remember, like to prepare for this. I'm like, who's the Hierophant in P3? Who the fuck is the Hierophant? It's the old couple, so it's really not the it's not the Hot Dad Arcana, but it's kind of become the Hot Dad Arcana, like with 4 and 5, and so like. I mean, like, Dojima is a major character. Dojima is not just, like, throwaway whatever character. Dojima is, like, one of the most important characters in Persona 4. And, like, everything that Persona 5 is not about, which is, like, terrible adults. Like, Dojima stands above the rest as, like, a halfway decent person. Like, yeah, maybe kind of an alcoholic. But, you know, otherwise...
He's trying his best.
He's doing his best, damn it. Okay?
And, like... When you are a police officer and you have to raise a 5-year-old daughter on your own, like, that's stressful. Especially in Japan.
He's a good dude. Yeah, especially in Japan where it's like, work yourself to death. No, he's a good dude, damn it. Like, he's just really tragic and sad, but mostly has a good heart and, does kind of a few dumb things, like leave a kid alone with nobody around while a, serial kidnapper is running around. That's kind of fucked up. I mean, like, yeah, that was pretty, like, primo idiot ball. We say that a lot. It was truly...
It was, like, the lowest point of his character was that
Yeah, it was such
part,
an idiot ball moment, too. And, like, you kind of get it, because, like, there's no way dude could even remotely know what's going on, like, at all. But at the same time...
But he could have at least brought Nanako to the police station,
right, or, like, call the old lady next door or something. Call the bitch who I buy all my vegetables from.
Right, yeah. Call your vegetable dealer.
Your seed hookup.
Yeah.
And be like, I need you to babysit my kid for, like, 20 minutes while I go question my nephew. But yeah, sure, leave the kid home alone. It's fine, and then get in a car accident. It's cool. Don't worry about it. It's fine. what else? His voice actor is somebody else too. He's Don Whitehorse in
Yeah, he is.
In Vesperia.
In Vesperia.
Yeah.
He's also Jiraiya in the Naruto dub.
Ha! That's awesome.
And,
imagine having that kind of money for the rest. Like you just like that kind of like job security. I know Jiraiya dies, but whatever.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
but he's in all the video games.
He's in all the video games.
You know?
It's job security, man. If you get in with a shonen series, you're set for life.
You got that Dragon Ball money at that point.
You got that Dragon Ball money. You got fuck you money at that point.
No, voice actors for dubs don't get paid a lot.
I know, but you work all the time at least.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I just dropped something on myself. Anyways.
So he's, his social link is one of the better ones in the game.
In a game full of really good ones.
Yeah, because like it's very impactful and it's it's punchy in that way of just like seeing this guy who you don't really get a lot of him in the main story, but like his social link just adds so much to like his motivations and to why he does the things he does and why he works himself to death like that. Mm-hmm. And you just get a lot of great little details out of him, and I really appreciate that his social link, like, he didn't find the guy who killed his wife.
Yeah, I agree. I think because it's more about, like, it wouldn't have really done anything. It really doesn't. Yeah. It wouldn't have made you feel better. It's just the whole idea of the social link is just learning to let go and, like, live for what you have right now. And, like, yeah, mm-hmm. catching the guy who killed your wife would help, maybe. But it doesn't really solve the underlying problem, which is that, I don't know how to, like, look my daughter in the eye because her mom died, and I'm blaming myself for a thing I could not possibly have prevented. Like,
mm-hmm. And because it wasn't like she died and, like, she wasn't, like, murdered. She wasn't, right. Attacked. It was a hit and run, yeah. And, like, there was no way you can catch, like, someone like that in, like, a small town like Inaba is, mm-hmm. where there's probably no security cameras anywhere or anything like that. Yeah. Like, there's no... And it happened so long ago, there's no way you were ever going to find him. And it's just... His whole thing is just a story about moving on from that and working towards something better.
Yeah, it's... I think it's a really interesting kind of concept to say, like, this is, like, a thing you're never going to be able to kind of to fix, and so it's a question of how do you get over that, and how do you kind of move past it and learn to actually just kind of live with yourself in the aftermath. And I think the game handles it really well. I mean, the shining thing of Persona 4 is, of course, it's character writing. Above all else, Persona 4 has probably some of the best character writing you're ever going to get, and it shows the best. It shines through the best in Dojima's social link, I think.
Yeah, it really does, and it's one that, like, you want to do whenever you can.
Yeah. It's always like you just want to know, like, what happens. You want to get some closure between yourself and this guy, because I think it's an interesting, like, story hook to take, like, this person as family, but they're kind of a stranger to you as well. Because I think it just kind of makes it interesting, because it feels like another, like, failure that you have to work past. It's like, yeah, you're my kid sister's brother, or my kid sister's son, whatever, and, like, I don't know you at all, even though we probably could have, known each other in some way. So it feels like another failure that you have to hurdle and move on from.
You have to make the effort to make him your family.
Yeah, which is such an old dude thing. Is like, well, I don't, I don't know them, so it's too late, and da-da-da-da. It's just like a dad thing, to just kind of not take the first step. And so it makes him kind of even more relatable like that, I guess. Like,
and it makes it, along with Nanako, it makes that those few months late in the game when they're not home.
So sad.
That just makes it feel so much more empty.
It does. It makes it so the theme that plays, it changes. You're so used to being greeted by one or the other, and like, yeah, man, it's really upsetting, because by the time, if you've done both social links, by the time you get to that point in the game, the house just feels really like lonely, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, it just feels so lonely to have to go home to this. It's a pretty big house for like a 17-year-old kid to be living in alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really sad. You just, like, you know, Soji is kind of like a blank slate character, but you still end up kind of feeling for him just because of the situation, and because you've gotten so close to these two characters who are now, like, you know, outside of your reach in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I love Dojima. He's great. Like,
he's a great character.
Oh my god, he's so... And, I mean, he's super ridiculous, and I think he handles, like, the revelation of, like, magic shit better than any, like, adult character in these situations ever. Which is, yeah, it's probably real. Nope, I don't want to know about it.
Right? Like, you always... I think I said this in the first Persona cast we did, but, like, I always got the idea that Dojima kind of knows that something beyond his understanding is going on, but he doesn't care.
He just doesn't want to hear about it. Like,
and he's like, as long as the guy's in jail, I don't really care beyond that.
It's just, like some of the late game stuff you get in the Golden, where it brings up, like, just, like, the weird shit everybody says, you can just tell he's like, nope, I'm not gonna ask questions, I'm not gonna press for more information, because it will drive me insane.
And I just love that, like, you always get, like, the occasional little, like, line of confusion from him.
Yeah.
When he's just kind of, like, listening in. Like, my favorite is when Teddy gives Nanako the little teddy doll.
It's made out of teddy fur.
And he's like, oh, that's great.
What is
teddy fur?
What is teddy fur? Never mind, I don't want to know. I don't need to know. Because it just starts spiraling out of control if you ask yourself those weird questions like that. And he knows it.
He's like, is this one of these memes the kids keep talking about?
One of those May-Mays. Oh my god.
And like, that's not to say like he does that for every case, but like this particular case and everything that his nephew is getting involved in, he's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it or think about it. It's over and it's done with. And somehow the right guy is in jail.
I don't want to think
I'm
about
going to
TV
take a nap.
worlds, because then I won't be able to watch TV in peace. Like, that's all it boils down to, is that, like, let this man watch his TV in peace without having to think about shit behind the screen. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, next.
Next is one of my favorite social links in the game.
Oh, really?
I love it. Strength, Daisuke and or Ko.
That's so funny.
Because, like, Daisuke and Ko, like, whichever one you pick, because I wish this was in 5. I really wish this was. I love picking which of the two you do.
Oh, you're right. 5 doesn't have that mechanic. That's such a bummer. It's so good.
No. It's such a cool thing, because it actively encourages, like, replayability, because it's like, oh, do the other one next time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like this one more than the Sun, because not only are these characters better, but I love that in the Sun, they don't talk to they're not related at all.
Yeah.
Whereas in Strength, like, Daisuke and Ko are best friends, and it's just which one do you hang out with more, and you get to do their story.
Right, yeah, and both are real, like, Daisuke's is objectively more boring, but, like, he's a good kid, so it's okay? Like, like, because Daisuke as a character is really, really likable, like, Ko has a more, like, punchy story, because it's about, like, I'm adopted, and I don't know if my family loves me, and, you know, I've been held to these high standards all my life, but now I have this kid sister, and she's being held up to all these high standards, so I feel like I'm being left behind, and blah, blah, blah. Like, those are more, like, punchy, dramatic story moments, for sure. But, like, just Dice Case is just really fun and normal, and you think, like, that'll be boring. But, like, because him as a character is so endearing, like, it's okay. You're still like, this is actually really interesting. Like, the concept is just, I'm afraid of girls because my last one broke up with me really hard and I'm not over it. And it just kind of works out to be this really relatable story of just, like, I don't know how to break out of my shell now. And, like, that's a really normal thing for a 16, 17-year-old kid to be dealing with, you know?
Yeah, and they're just, like, it's kind of funny because whichever one you end up doing, you almost spend more time with the other friend.
For sure, to work out this other, to work out the guy who is this, like, the focus of the social link.
Yeah.
Working out his problems requires you spend as much time with the other one, honestly.
Yeah, like when you do Bsky social link, like for the especially like the latter half of the ranks, it's mostly just like you and Ko being like, how are we gonna fix this?
Right, and it's so good, and it's really just like one of my favorite like parts of Ko's. And honestly, I was so biased towards Daisuke that I didn't do Ko's for a while, just because I like Daisuke as a character, because he's just really relatable. I was like, well, I'll do Ko's finally. And I did Ko's, and I really, really liked it, because I love the part in Ko's where you go up onto the roof, and he's just kind of, like, laying there, you know? And he's just, like, staring at the sky. And I don't know, just something about, like, because what happens is he's laying there, and he's lost in thought, and he's literally on his back staring at the sky on the school roof. And then Soji and Daisuke go sit on either side of him. They just go and they just sit and they chill. And it just was such, like, a nice little moment. Like, even without any of the plot stuff that was happening, just that little gesture of just like, hey, you're going through some shit. We're going to come sit down next to you and be like, hey, what's wrong, buddy? Was just,
right,
like,
exactly.
It's
that bit in Scrubs where it's like you knock yourself out with a jump shot, so I lay down next to you, so everyone think we were chilling.
Exactly. That's totally what it is. And
it's like outside of the party, outside of like Yosuke and Kanji, I think like if you do all the social links, I think Daisuke and or Ko are the closest friends Soji has.
Yeah, because they're just like, I mean, they're just, you know, like normal 17-year-old second year kids just like him, and they go through really normal stuff, and it just makes them very likable. And for all of my, like, dislike for the anime and the Golden, the one thing that I do like is that it always seems to kind of come back to Daisuke and Ko. Like, when they need somebody to do shit for them in the real world, it falls to Daisuke and Ko, and, like, it's really cute, just because you do get the sense that, like, he is, you know, Soji is friends with these guys, and, you know, he can rely on them even if they don't have crazy magic powers.
Like, a lot of these social links, like, and I mean, they're all really good, but a lot of them tend to be, like, you don't really get the idea that Soji would, you know, hang out with them outside of whatever duty he is doing while he's with them. Mm-hmm. Like, with, like, Sayoko or Eri or, you know, or Shu or anything like that. But, like, Daisuke and Ko, you can easily see them, like, hanging out
just being
outside
friends.
of school, outside of practice. And I love this, and I wish more did that. They're part of the text message group that you do when after Nanako comes back to life, and you get those text messages, and that's such a nice. Was that in the original version?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
it was. I
didn't know that was like a golden feature.
It's been a long time since Vanilla. I know, but it was. Yeah.
And that's such an awesome, like, touch to remind you that they do exist outside of their social link.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, they're your friends. They're worried about you. Your little sister is in the hospital. Are you okay? That kind of thing. Like, it's nice. It's very relatable. Good for them. Yeah,
they're good kids.
They're good kids, Bront. Next.
Next is the Hermit.
Yep. All your yens.
Yep. All your yens.
It's kind of all you can say, really.
Honestly, though, like, I mentioned this, like, kind of earlier with Margaret. Like, don't like social links that require you to do things.
Oh my god.
And I hate doing Hermits because it takes multiple days to get one rank up.
Yes.
Like, you have to do a lot of things, and there's no conceivable way a person would figure this out, like, the first time they go through it, because, like, it's like, oh, talk to an NPC about this. Well, the NPCs aren't marked, and they aren't available on certain days. And, like, you're given like a dialogue prompt, and you have to pick the right dialogue prompt to advance the story, and then go back to them the next time they're available and give them a fish. And it's like, how are we supposed to figure this out?
I guess just trial and error. Like, I'm so conflicted about the fox, like, because it is the most tedious fucking thing, but at the same time, it does push that home. I didn't think I'd even end up talking about the fox social link this much. Whatever. Listen, the whole idea of the fox is that it makes you know the people of Inaba. And
exactly.
And like, that's really what, it's not about the fox, it's about Inaba, and it makes you kind of get to know these weirdos. And like, everybody who comes and makes a request to the shrine, like the Fox Shrine, you can talk to later. They are NPCs that just run around the town, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're all characters.
Yeah. And it's cool to, like, see, like, because one of the things I really like about Persona 4 is that, like, there's little side stories. There aren't side quests or anything like that. It's just, as time goes on, things happen to random NPCs, whether it's, oh, I like a girl, or it's, you know, I'm failing my classes, or whatever.
Yeah, there's
just little things.
Yeah, there's, like, I have a bunch of... It's really funny, and I guess this is a good place to talk about it. I have, like, a little list of Persona 4 NPCs who I'm in love with, who I just, like, adore. Like,
and
there's
it's Funky Student at the top of the list.
Funky Student, and then there's Girl in Love with Her Library Senpai. There is the twins, the twin girls that run around town. And, like, one is really aggressive about being twinsies, and the other is really tired of it, and she doesn't know how to stand up to her sister. There's the ghosts, and that's plural. There's, like, 4 ghosts in Inaba. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's super great. Then there's they added them in the Golden, but I love them because they're kind of like a weird Dojima and Adachi parallel. But if you go out at night, outside the bar, there's a pair of, like, a guy out getting drunk with his boss every night. And,
oh, I remember them. Yeah.
They have, like, a little running story where, like, you know, this guy really hates being dragged out to drink with his boss, but his boss is, like, trying to impart wisdom on this young shithead. And, like, eventually, like, I think the kid gets promoted and he moves out of Inaba, and the boss is just like, I'll miss that kid. And you're just like, aww. These are great little micro stories, and there are so many of them. There are so many itty-bitty little stories like that in all of Inaba. And, like, it's really the one thing P5 is missing, and it's what makes Persona amazing. It's like, it is what makes Persona 4 just, like, so perfect. One of the many, many things that makes Persona 4 a perfect video game is that, like, this is a town, it really makes you believe by getting to know the small town, getting to know, like, everybody in this small town. Oh, and there's the guy on the floodplains who's, like, really, really friendly, and him and his wife run Sozai Daigaku, like the little meat stand. He's really, he's really nice, and he's just always really friendly to Soji, and it feels like such a small town thing. Like, those things, more than anything in the world, make you realize, like, oh, this is a small town where everybody knows each other. Because now you know everybody.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, very rarely do you see RPGs that actually, like, encourage you to talk to NPCs. Because mostly they're just, like, little filler dialogue or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, to populate the town. But, like, here they actually do feel like people that are having stories happen to them outside of your adventures.
Yeah, like, they're just normal people who are just kind of doing things with their lives. And so it kind of makes the town feel more like a place you can go home to instead of just like a video game land. It's like Inaba is a place that like exists in your head because, like, you know all these people. It's beautiful. Like, that's what the Fox... Basically what I'm saying is that's what the Fox social link is about.
Right.
It's
and
about
I also
that.
just like as a final note on the Fox, I absolutely adore that the Fox's inclusion is just like, I guess we have a fox now.
Yes.
Like they notice that it followed them into the TV, and they're just like, oh, well, I guess it's just gonna come with us now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody's just kind of chill with it. Okay.
Yeah, everyone's okay with it. It's just, I guess we have this now.
We have a fox now. It hangs out with them at Junette's before you go into the TV. It's really funny.
Right?
Like, it's a bunch of kids and a fox hanging out at the food court at Junette's.
And I mean, someone gave it that bandana.
Oh, I know. It's so funny. It's so cute. It eventually... Have you ever finished it? Have you ever maxed it?
Oh, I finished it, yeah.
I love that it has babies. It's really cute. Mm-hmm. And 2, I love that the shrine becomes gold.
Right?
Because I want to believe that if you're a tourist in Inaba and you're like going just to stay at the Amagi Inn and chill at the hot springs, you're like, I'm gonna go walk around town. And you like turn a corner and like here's this gaudy ass golden shrine in the middle of this nowheresville town, and you're like, what the fuck? What the?
Why wasn't that on the brochure?
I know. I want to believe it eventually is.
Yeah.
No one knows where the money came from. It's because you were grifting me for heels, you piece of shit, Fox. Alright, next.
Alright, moving on to the best little kid character in JRPG history.
Oh, you mean my daughter? Yeah.
Nanako Dojima, the Justice Social Link.
A good child. A good and pure
she's
child.
A good kid.
She's a good baby.
There are so many kid characters in anime and anime games specifically that are garbage and annoying and you hate them. Mm-hmm. And Nanako is not on that list at all.
Nanako is perfect. She's a sweet, innocent little bean. She loves you. She's shy. She's sad. And she just wants to be your friend. And yeah, I love her.
I think it's great. And like... I want to imagine there was a day that Dojima realized how many babysitters he has access to now.
Even after Soji leaves.
Right? Because there had to be a day when he like realized, he was like counting it on his fingers, like how many friends his nephew has and how often they're like super wielding and almost demanding to include Nanako into things. And he's like...
Wait a minute.
I could call any one of them to watch the kid.
At any time. What the hell? Literally. Would be the easiest thing in the entire world, too. You could call Yosuke and he'd probably drop what he was doing at Junes to go babysit this kid.
Right?
You know what I mean? He'd be like, well, I can't keep doing this job. I have to go do my true calling, which is babysit this 6-year-old. Like...
And I love that all the party members are like not only just like, you know, they're willing to like have her tag along, like they encourage like we should call Nanako over too.
I know, it's so cute. The moment when I first played this game a billion years ago, when I was a much younger woman, the moment I realized that like I was probably going to love this game until I was dead is the moment like after you've gotten Yosuke, Yukiko, and Chie, and like that's it. You know, you've just gotten Yukiko in your party, and Yosuke shows up out of the blue one day. Is like, "Hey, wanna go hang out at Junes?" And then Nanako's behind him and goes, "Hey, how about you too?" And she just goes, "Really?" Like the most excited, and
right?
Like, he just invites her out of the blue. Invites his friend's little nephew or niece. Whatever. Cousin. There's my English. Jesus.
Yeah, cousin. Yeah, she's a cousin, yeah.
Whatever. I want to say little sister, but she's not at that point yet.
Not yet.
And, like, he just invites her along out of the blue just because he can, and she's so excited and so happy. And you're like, this game is going to be something special.
That's when you're like, oh, these are good kids, and I'm going to appreciate, like,
all of them.
Spending time with them.
They're so... happy to have her be healthy when she's like sick, and like even before shit gets bad, like when she finger quotes dies, they're hanging out at Junes like to buy her get well soon gifts.
Yeah.
How cute. How pure can you get? You can't.
And I love that, like, Nanako is, like, a common factor in all their social links. Like, when they're at their worst, Nanako is there to say something cute and innocent to cheer them up.
You're so right, though. I
think almost every member of the team has, like, a moment where Nanako just walks up and she's like, I think you're cool. Then she leaves.
That's all you need. Literally all you need is encouragement from her.
And, like, Chie's like, I may be garbage, but Nanako thinks I'm cool.
Exactly. Like, everybody is just... Like, that's all you really need is, like, for for like a 6-year-old to show up and think like, man, I think you're pretty cool. Suddenly it's like your whole day gets better because this really cute kid says so. Like, I love her.
She's great.
She's so cute. And she's so sad. And literally everyone loves her. She just has a potent maternal miasma around her.
Right?
That's
and
it.
like, and you know, like, holy shit. Her dungeon is like
so good.
Right?
Oh
it's
God.
one of the best designs in the game.
Oh my God,
and
it's
that
so
song
good.
that plays.
The song is so good, and the design is... I just love, because, like, every dungeon before that has basically been in hallways. Like, it's been in enclosed spaces. So, to go to heaven, and it open... You're still in hallways, yeah. But... like, the area around it is open, and it feels literally like you just stepped outside. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Right? Yeah. It's so, like, it's like, I wouldn't say opening, because, like, again, it's a horrible place for her to be, but you know, it's, like, it feels, it's so, like, unique as, from a player perspective, to see this new area, and be like, oh my god, like, this is, it just hammers home, like, how important this dungeon is, and like, how... like, you're at a turning point in the game when you get here.
Yeah, and even, like, the little things, like, the fact that the stairs are, like, beanstalks is such a little kid thing. It's Jack and the Giant Beanstalk. You're climbing up trees or vines to go to the next level. Like, it's those little kid details that just really kind of sell it for what it is. And,
my only wish is that I wish it was one of those areas where the overworld music persists in battles.
I do too. Yeah, I do. Although I think it might drive me crazy after a little while. So maybe it's for the best. But either way.
Yeah. But like, it's just like, because like, I like that song so much, and I don't want it to be interrupted every time I get into a battle.
You're right. It is
it's good. It's like the bit in Final Fantasy X where you first go to Xanarkand and you hear that song.
Oh my god.
And you're like, oh my god, I want to just hover around. And then you get in a battle and it persists, and you're like, oh, thank god.
I know. That is so good. But yeah, like, man, like,
and her social link is just, like,
it's so
soul-crushing.
good. You just, again, it's punchy, and you feel sorry for her, and you want to know what happens next, and you just kind of, like, want this rift between her and her dad to go away so that, like, they can be on some kind of, like, common ground, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, if you've ever had, like, a younger sibling or a younger cousin that you're close with, and you don't usually get questions like the ones she's asking, but you feel that, like, it's that punch of, like, how do I talk to this kid and explain things that are, like, beyond their comprehension at this level.
Right. And it's like, all those little things, like, does dad still love me, and stuff like that are just so, you know, like, little punchy moments like that. And she, you know, the part where she finally calls Dojima stupid feels really good.
Yeah.
Like, every time I get to that point, I'm like, yeah, you tell him, little girl. Tell him to stop being such a shithead. I know it's rough, but come on. Like, it's such a good moment.
Like, they actually, for once, like, did a good job of writing a character who feels their age. And I know, and I'm not like it's hard to do that when you have, like, writing little kids is such a difficult thing, because there are the window you have to, like, oh, well, a kid acts like this until they're 6.5. When they hit 7, suddenly they develop enough to act like this. And, like, you have such narrow windows to, like, and kids grow at different rates and everything like that. So, like, it's so hard, and they did such a good job of making Nanako actually feel like a 6 to 7 year old.
And a likable one, because, you know, it's really hard to kind of straddle the line of, like, realistic kid character and realistic bratty kid character.
Yeah.
You know? Like, sometimes, like, yeah, like, smart little kids can be precocious, for sure. Like, but sometimes a game can kind of hammer that precociousness too far, Exilio 2, and so now you're in territory of this kid is just kind of an annoying brat sometimes. But, like, Nanako never, like, she has her little, like, precocious moments, but she never strays into annoying brat territory so that she can stay, you know, relatable to the grown people who are playing this game, you know?
And those moments also, like, keep her from being innocent, pure angel child, too.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
she does have moments where she lashes out and she gets frustrated and, you know,
Culture
she
demons.
runs away from home.
Yeah,
She runs away from home at one point, and it's like, yeah, that's great. And they did a really, really good job of making a character that was designed to be cared about, and then actually caring about her.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she's just so it's so interesting to me that they made her the Justice, like, as a gameplay thing. It was a really smart, like, because the whole idea is that her survival kind of hinges on your doing the just thing, like, you doing the right thing kind of hinge, you know, like,
yeah.
So it's this idea of, like, total innocent justice, of always doing the right thing and being honest with yourself, and it even plays out in her social link. It's not just she's the Justice because of this one moment, you know, she's the Justice for kind of the whole, like, the game kind of revolves around truth. Like, that's the literal theme of the game. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Is truth. And so it's interesting that the innocent kid character, who really is so innocent she can't even have a shadow yet, because she doesn't know how to lie to herself yet. It's interesting that she's the Justice of all those characters. Like,
yeah.
All the characters they made, because I guess in that way, because she's not capable of lying to herself to generate a shadow yet, then because of that, she kind of is, like, the embodiment of just, like, total innocent justice.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, that was maybe
great.
a little rambling, but I hope I got my point.
No, I got it.
Cool.
So next on the list is the Hanged Man.
No.
Naoki Konishi.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Which is his is rough.
I spend nearly every single one of his ranks either crying or just getting really frustrated with how shitty people are.
Yeah.
Like, if the fox is about making you love Inaba and small town life because you know everybody and everybody's got your back and you want to support everybody, then Naoki's is about making you hate small town life because all these people have their noses in your fucking business after your sister just got murdered, and why are you judging a 15-year-old kid for not grieving the way you think is the right way? It's fucked up. So sad.
It's like, this kid, like, his social link is so good because it's not overly... It's about how he just shuts down.
Yeah, it's not overdone in its emotions. Like,
it's not necessarily about him mourning and moving on from his sister's death. It's about how, like, no one's letting him do that.
Right, because everybody keeps bringing it up, and everybody keeps, like, kind of secretly wanting to know, like, ooh, how'd she die, and da-da-da-da-da.
They're trying to... They're balancing the line between, like, being overly sympathetic, which is annoying when you're trying to move on and, you know, get past it. It's frustrating when people keep asking you about it and keep checking on you to make sure you know how you feel or whatever like that. And half of them, it comes from a place of well-meaning, which is they're just trying to make sure, because they don't know how you're going through it, and they want to make sure that you're okay because they care about you.
Right.
And the other half is doing it because they want to know about the scandal.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, Saki was up to some shit, and she had an older boyfriend, and all of this bullshit, and so they want to gossip. I mean, like, it's so, like, one of the parts that made me, like, want to snap my controller in half is the part, and it's, like, the third rank of this kid's social link, is when you're hanging out with Naoki, and, like, he actually laughs. You're eating at Sozai Daigaku, and he actually laughs at some stupid joke Soji tells. And, like, these old women, like, walk by, and as soon as they think he's out of earshot, they're like, oh, should he be laughing already? His sister just died. Da-da-da. Shut the fuck up. I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I'll kill you,
like,
bitches.
You know, let the kid has, like, he's mourned. Like,
yeah.
He's gotten past that part. Like, but they're not letting him continue on
because he hasn't put on enough of a show to satisfy them to to seem like, oh, he's adequately grieved, you know, and you just feel, it's that weird feeling of like nobody really wants to face how messed up of a situation this is, so they just kind of treat him like he's made out of glass. And so the whole reason he even reaches out to kind of social link with Soji is because, you know, the option when Soji helps him with the health committee is like, basically, Soji's like, get off your ass and help me clean this room. I don't care. Yeah. You know?
He's the first one that actually, like, you know, pushed him to do something and didn't treat him with kid gloves.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, oh, there's so many scenes that are so punchy, and I hate it, and I just want to cry, and it's like, no, I can't handle it. It's so sad. I hate the scene. It's like his, like, rank 9, maybe it's his 10th rank, where he says, Sis probably would have wanted to live, and I was just like, oh.
Right? Yeah, and it's
so sad.
You know, and the worst part about it, like, I think, is that, like, because he is, like, a classmate social link, and his happens, like, fairly late into the game. Like, you can only get it, I think, like, the cutscene that actually happens, I think it happens around Kanji's dungeon.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit after Kanji's dungeon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Because him and Kanji are kind of friends, sort of. So, like, but, like, that's several months after her death. And they're still not letting him move on from it.
I know, it's so fucked up. Oh.
It's so, like, and the thing is, like, I've been in high school and had, like, a relative die. And, like, people, even with my own personal family, like, and my family's super tight about everything, is, like, after, like, a month or so, we're back to joking about them, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to keep thinking about it in sad terms.
You don't really, like, it's not, like, super realistic to, you know, be caught up in the like, you know, gentleness of, like, you know, when you're in that weakness. It's not realistic to be caught up in that for that long. You're going to move on eventually, and, like, unless people around you drag it down and they keep reminding you of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just so, like, messed up to me to just think, like, yeah, we have to hold this 15. He's 15 because he's a first year. So, like, you're gonna hold him to, like, these really high standards of how you think he should be acting in public, and I guess it's just I would say it's a Japanese society thing, but it's really a small town society thing, because I live in a small town now, and let me tell you, it's kind of always like this. Like, like, you know, there's gossip, and there's people, you know, somebody died, so let's all, like, gossip about it and be like, ooh, well, how did it happen? And da-da-da-da, you know? Like, you know, messed up stuff like that. It's small town life, and it's fucked up. And it's frustrating, because you're just like, mind your own business. Yeah. Like, mind your own, like, it's the double-edged sword of living in a place with very few people in it. It's like, one, you know everybody. Two, you know everybody. It kind of blows. Yeah. Like, everybody knows you, so everybody knows what shit you're into, and sometimes it gets frustrating, and sometimes you just want them to leave you the hell alone. And, like, it's so sad. It's just the whole social link, but it's so good. Oh my god.
It is. It's one of those ones that you want to do every time, just because, like, it's so good.
It's so punchy, and just, he is such a likable kid, because he's actually kind of a smartass, and he's really funny, and you just end up, by the end of his social link, you just like him a lot, because he's just kind of a fun, dumb 15-year-old kid. You're like, oh, I like you now, okay, you're good people. Like, it is about kind of moving past the fact that, oh, well, he's the girl who, you know, got murdered's little brother. And it's like, no, now he's just my friend. He's just, like, a guy I know. Yeah. And, like, it's about kind of getting to know that. It's so good. Oh my god. Such a good social link. Such a good character. Yeah. Good kid. He's a good being.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, next, let's keep the Morn train rolling. No! We have Hisano Kuroda, the death social link.
Oh, no.
Which is unique in that she is the only one that ranks up every time you do it, which is nice.
Thank you, Hisano. Because you only get her on Sundays, so like, you kind of have to.
Yeah, but, like, oof.
So sad.
they weren't content on making it just about, like, her mourning her husband.
Nope.
No. They had to make it about how she feels guilty for for being relieved that he died.
Yeah. It's like, oh, my husband had dementia and didn't recognize me when he died, so I'm kind of happy that he's gone, because I didn't want him to suffer anymore. And you're like, no, not this game.
And you're like, that's reasonable and understandable.
Yeah.
And so you have that feeling, but you can also understand, like, why that would be so horribly frustrating and why that would tear at you.
Because it's a messed up thing to think. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear that, you know, somebody you loved died, but they had been suffering for a long time, that's a weird, twisty feeling to have. Because on the one hand, you're like, oh, good, it's over. On the other hand, you're like, oh, God, they're gone. Why am I saying that?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a like, again, oh god, all Persona 4 is a bunch of relatable shit. And, like, that's pretty fucking relatable to have, you know, like, it's something everybody's kind of gone through or will go through at one point or another. Like, and she is really just, like, I mean, she has a good voice actor for, like, the few lines she does speak.
Yeah.
Like, her voice acting is really good, despite only having a handful of lines. And it kind of helps sell this idea of just, like, this really friendly, like, nice grandma.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. And it's, like, she's really unique in that, like, she is someone who's so far removed from, like, Soji's standard social group, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because, like, Persona 3 had a lot of those. You talk to a lot of people who weren't students or, like, young adults in P3.
Yeah.
Like, so it's really nice to have that in P4, to have her along with that, because it shows just, like, how social of a guy he is.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a totally unique perspective to have.
And it is it's kind of just a nice way to get to I know, as an image in your head, it's just kind of sweet to think of, like, this kid who goes and hangs out by the river every Sunday with this sad old lady. Like, it's really sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
you know?
really sweet.
Yeah, just like the setup they have, where you go down to the river and you just sit next to her and you two talk for an afternoon.
And he goes and finds her husband's old letters, which are just beautiful.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just such a nice, like, emotional little thing to do, and just, it's a really subtle story. Like, there aren't a big emotional moments the way that, like, Dojima or Nanako's have, stuff like that. But because it's a very simple story about kind of, like, you know, I feel guilty that I'm happy that my husband died, but I loved him a lot, and all of these little things, you know, it's just kind of it's kind of Miyazaki in a way.
Yeah, you know what? That's like exactly it.
Yeah,
right?
It's kind of
like,
Miyazaki.
And it's just like, you can tell that, like, it makes her day to, like, be able to talk about her husband with a young kid.
Yeah, who cares?
So, yeah, someone who normally, like, wouldn't care about this, like, it makes her so happy to just be able to talk about that.
Yeah. And it's just sweet.
It is.
Sweet. It's such a good social link. Oh my god, all of these social links are so good, except
they're
for,
so
like,
good.
Which is the next one is one of them.
Yeah, the next one is Eri Minami the Temperance.
Yawn.
Which, I'll be honest, I don't think I've actually ever finished it, because it is not very exciting and interesting,
Boring.
and I don't really care about her.
I did it. It's not great. I can tell you. Like, I did it from start to finish.
It's not necessarily a bad one, but it's just so bland compared to all the others.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah, like, I really can't say anything more than that. I mean, like, here we are, we're spending 10-15 minutes on each social link, then we get to Eri, and I'm just kind of like, I don't care, really.
And I mean, like, the concept of, like, trying to connect to your child is, your stepson, which is, you know, an echo of Dojima and Nanako, but like, hers just feels like so much weaker in comparison to that.
Because
and,
it's
like,
so, like, as like as a grown-up, as like a me, like, all of her her whining, basically, is mostly just annoying. Because she's like, well, I watch TV and I mostly feel sorry for myself. And I'm like, okay.
It's one of those things where, like, I would have liked it better if it was about her son instead.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been better to know about him.
Yeah, you're going to daycare, and, like, so you only talk to her when she comes to pick him up, and it's like, it would have been much better if Soji was, like, hanging out with kids at daycare, and he focuses on this one kid who's having a rough go of it, you know?
Like, I just don't feel... Like, I guess I feel kind of sorry, because it kind of sounds like her husband just kind of moved her out to the middle of the nowhere, like, out of nowhere, was just kind of like, hey, we're moving to Annaba. I know you live in the city, but sorry. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know how sorry I feel for you, It's just... She sits around, she watches, inspirational, what kind of sounds like cult shit on TV, and then mopes about the fact that her stepson doesn't like her. Well, yeah, because you don't put in the effort. I know that's what the social link is about, is making her put in the effort, but still.
But, even by the end she doesn't have an excuse like Dojima does,
Yeah, exactly. She's just kind of like a mope. You were marrying this guy, you knew he had a kid, you should have been more ready for this,
Yeah.
Like,
you had time to prepare. It's not like it caught you by surprise. Like, you had time to prepare.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, lady. No.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah. But...
The next one is one that's actually one of the better ones in the game. That's Sayoko Uriha, the Death Arcana, or the Devil Arcana.
She's so good.
Oh, I love doing the Devil. Because it's so funny at first, and then it gets real heavy.
Yeah. I'm so glad she gets a call out in Persona 5, by the way.
Right?
It's
yeah,
so
that's
good.
really nice. That was like...
I was so happy.
I want to believe they were roommates in college.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm just so glad Takemi called her. And you're just like, she says Uehara, and I'm like, wait.
Wait, is that? It has to be.
It has to be. Who else would it be? Oh, man.
It's so, like... because, like, the first, like, 3 or 4 ranks are just the fucking funniest goddamn things ever.
The trashiest thing ever.
Right? Just making this poor kid the most uncomfortable. And it does the thing where, like, it cuts away and it has, like, sound effects.
And you're like, did you just get a handy J in a hospital supply room closet?
Is that what happened?
Am I on a list now somewhere?
And my favorite part is that she's so much smaller than him.
I know, she's just this little dainty thing.
She's really short,
it's
and
so
like
funny.
So, like, it's, you get that thing in trashy stuff like that all the time, where, like, the MILF character is, like, towering over the almost Shota boy.
Right,
And it's like, imagine that same thing, but she's, like, 3 inches shorter than him.
And she wears heels.
Yeah.
So she's actually even shorter. She's actually a lot shorter, which is even better.
It's great. And then it gets, like, heavy. And then it gets
heavy. Yeah.
And it gets to the point where she's she's a total workaholic, and you realize that no one respects her.
Yeah.
And, like, they're almost afraid of her, and she ends up collapsing.
Oh, man. It's like... She just... Because she wants to be more than, like, what she is, and it's kind of like, I don't know how to get to that point. So you end up, like, mostly just feeling really bad for her. And like, again, it's like, oh, I didn't expect to find you as relatable as I do, slutty nurse. Yeah. But I know.
Right, because, like, you were expecting, like, oh, this will be just a fun, dark humor, like,
jokey
weirdo social link.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it actually does get really heavy, and, like, you're like, can we go back to the part where you were, like, about to pin me into a corner? Like, because that was fun.
That was
and now
fun.
It's getting real sad.
I'm always so bummed she moves away at the end of the social.
Yeah,
so
but
no, come back, I love you.
It is cool that, like, she apparently joined some, like,
Peace
group,
Corps.
like, some, like, awesome, like, group that travels the world and stuff.
Yeah, she joins, like, Doctors Without Borders or something like that, where she's just like, I'm going to all these crazy places and helping sick kids.
She basically joins Caduceus from the Trauma Center games.
Oh
which are also made by Atlas.
How rad would that be if they made another one and she was like a
right? Like if they made like
call-out?
a Trauma Team 2, if they make a Trauma Team 2
Oh,
and
man.
like one of the characters was Sayoko.
Oh my god, how cool would that be?
Atlas, please make... You have the Switch now. Please make more Trauma Team games.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
I want to play Trauma Center so badly.
I'm sorry, dude. Never gonna happen.
Make Trauma Team 2 and then make Snowboard Kids 3.
And a sequel to Jack Bros!
Yeah! Bring back, like, you got that Persona money now. You can bring back all the franchises.
Sweet, sweet Persona 5 Green. Make so many games. Oh my god.
Why wasn't Jack Frost in Snowboard Kids? That seems like the most obvious thing in the world now that I think about it.
Maybe it was too obvious.
Maybe.
I don't know. But
I don't know. Anyway, the point is Sayoko is great.
Sayoko is amazing, and she gets a call out in P5, and it's perfect.
And she also does have one of the best moments in the anime, too. Like, one of the few shining moments in the anime.
What is it?
Like,
'cause I think I dropped the anime pretty early.
There's one of the days where you have, like, a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, basically it's just an excuse for, like, Soji to walk around and have, like, random side stories happen.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is, like... It might even be Hisano, I don't remember. But, like, someone, like, chokes... Or no, I think it's Daidara, actually.
Oh!
Like, he chokes on something. And, like, Soji doesn't know how to perform CPR, so he actually calls Sayoko.
Oh, that's awesome!
And, like, she's in the middle of the town, she's, like, having fun with her friends, like, in the middle of the festival, and, like, she just very quickly gets into serious nurse mode, and, like, she, you know, walks him through the steps.
That's awesome! Good for
and
you,
like,
badass nurse lady.
And it's, like, one of those cool moments where, like, you know, it kind of also clicks that, like, you know, she is more than just being, like, the weird slutty character.
Right.
Or the workaholic. Like, no, she is a trained professional and she knows what she's doing.
And she's, like, a badass.
And she takes it seriously.
Yeah, and she just, like... I love the part in her social link where she just obviously she's somebody just slapped her in the face and she just kind of like walks it off. She's like, whatever, bitch. I'm like, yes, I love you. She's great. I mean, she's so... I expected so little out of that social link and I got so much. It's awesome.
Well, and it's also one of those things where, like, after you complete it and she does move away, like, when you go to, like, if you take the job again,
because you need the
it'll be like
courage.
Sayoko won't be there.
Aw, yeah, it's kind of
and
sad.
like, you know, it's kind of like that thing where, like, you kind of like think about Soji just thinking like, yeah, I mean, I could go to side note, like, fuck that kid and fuck Akira as well.
Yeah, all you fucking kids.
What's this bullshit? Oh, come in whenever you want. Whatever, it's fine.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I wish I lived in
Like,
that version of reality.
Right? Like, all the jobs you take in Persona 5 especially, this is off topic, but whatever, like, it's a... Like, every job you take in Persona 5, like, the manager's like, whatever works for you. It's like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
In Japan? Fuck you.
They're like, we'll work around your schedule. Motherfucker, I was 17 once, and I never once had a boss tell me that.
That's not true in any retail job ever.
There's
like
no version of reality.
What's funny is that, like, you get that, and then you also, like, harkening back to our last podcast, you get the social link with Yosuke, where he's like, these bitches need to work the schedules they're assigned. And there's Soji, like, kind of, like, sweating a little, because he's, like, thinking, like, maybe I'll do my night janitor job tonight, I don't know.
I might just hang out with my cousin instead, I don't know.
Yeah. But no, it's great, and I love, because, like, you make good money doing the night janitor job, and if you don't have anything else to do, you might as well make money.
Right?
But you do it, and you're like, but you can go to work, but Sayoko won't be there, you won't have anyone to talk to, and it's like, oh, right.
Although the funny thing is, speaking of money, and this is, again, kind of off topic, when I think about it, it's really, like not great money, it's like $3,000 a night, right? It's 3,000 yen a night. That's like $30 in American money.
Right? I mean, granted, it's probably on, like a 2-hour shift, considering it's an evening thing, you know?
Right, like, for sure, it's probably, like, you're only working 2-3 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
But still, it's like $30 to go clean a spooky-ass hospital at night? Fuck no!
No, I do love that it ranks up your courage, though.
It does rank up, it's really funny. It's really, really funny. It's also funny that that's how you meet Hisano. Like,
yeah,
oh no,
because she thinks she's a ghost.
Oh, ghost lady, no! But, next.
Okay, moving on to her is another one that's like, who gives a shit? Shu Nakajima, The Tower.
Yawn
which is
again.
like, And again, like, it's nothing, like, super direct, like, it is this for this reason exactly. He's just boring.
He's just boring. Spoiled little kid, you know?
And he dresses like an idiot.
His dresses, his mom
He's got that
him.
dumb bowl cut, and he's got his, collared
God.
plaid shirt that he tucks in, and it's like, oh, come on, kid, come on.
Come on. You're not Mob from Mob Psycho 100.
Right.
Don't even try. Like...
Oh, he's so... And it's just like,
It's boring.
I don't really care. And, like, the only good part is that you throw a party for him.
And it's
like,
really
at rank
cute.
9. And it's hilarious.
Yes. That
Like,
part is great.
But that's, like, about it.
Because...
Like, the rest of it...
Because it has nothing to do with him. It's how funny and stupid all your friends are.
Yeah, and it's... What's really weird to me is that that's, like, the only social link that has that.
Yeah.
And, like, it would have, like...
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's a very different
It's
thing.
a very special
like,
social link.
Mm-hmm.
But
Shu is not special. He's just boring, and I did it once to see what it was about, and I'm like, it's one of those that I'm like, I'm not gonna do that again.
Only reason you do Shu's social link is to get Yoshitsune.
Yeah.
Because Yoshitsune is super fucking broken, and oh my god, Hasotobi needs to chill the fuck out. 8 light damage guaranteed. 8 hits of light damage guaranteed is the most broken, and it nullifies physical attacks. It's the most broken goddamn thing. It's basically like...
Right.
It's basically the joke that I love. It's a point-and-click adventure game, but the only command is click to kill.
Yep.
That's it. Like, that's what having... That's the one thing, is you do
That's your
social
reward
link.
for... That's your reward for trudging through this mud.
Yeah, it's to get Yoshitsune, who's fucking baller. Oh my god. So, otherwise, only do it once, and then you never have to do it again. Next.
But moving on to another really good one, though.
Oh, man,
Abihara
yay.
the Moon.
Yay!
I love Ai.
Ai's a good character. Ai's a good character. Fuck you, fight me. She's a great
It's
kid.
one of those... Again, it's a thing where, like, she's bad at first, but then you have to talk to her and get to know her a little better, and then she gets better.
Oh my god,
Hey, character development, it happens.
Oh man, and she has some really good character development. She's also the worst because she's the only social link in the game, except for Naoto, I think, who you can get reversed with, and it's really easy to reverse Ai's social link. And you're like, leave me
because she's
alone.
very testy.
She's very, very testy. Like, the first 3 or 4 ranks of her social link are basically just like, do not pick the wrong answer or this girl will go full bitch and eat your head off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love her, but at the same time, it's very anxiety inducing when you've only got a very limited amount of time to play a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But I do love her. I love everything about her story. I love that she's just like, she's just so sad again.
Well, yeah, you because, like, for one thing, you get her social link is about her being a vain, like, spoiled brat for a while, and then it's like, oh, hey, everyone seems to think that she is a literal prostitute.
Yeah. The only part of Ai's social link I really hate is the part when the guy slaps her, and you can't kill him.
And yeah, you can't just tackle him and just slam him into a locker.
And beat the living shit out of him. Like,
yeah.
In that moment, you understand the killer. You're like, I'm gonna push you into a TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand. That's the only part of her social link I just can't, like, I cannot come to grips with. Like, if anybody ever, like, slapped a friend of mine in front of me, they'd, like, be dead.
Yeah. There would be a broken heap.
They'd be dead. Yeah, for sure. I can't even, like, wrap my head around it. It's just, like, that's how terrible... It's a good idea. It's a good way to show how fucking horrible teenagers are, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, you're not just gonna be... Basically, you're just... It's like you think you're so entitled to some chick's body that you're gonna slap her because she doesn't sleep with you? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Kids are the worst.
She has so many, like, really strong moments in her social link. And on the complete opposite, I love the part where, like, whatever sports team you join is, like, talking about how hot she is and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then whichever one, Ko or Daisuke, they're just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's so good.
Just complete blunt, like, this is dumb. stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving. Like, fuck this.
Yeah, because they're basically, like, all the other sports team guys are, like, calling her, like, a slut and a prostitute and all this shit. And then, like, dude is like, shut the fuck up, I'm gone. Like,
yeah.
Awesome.
Right?
Like, that's how you know those are good dudes right there. Like, they're, you know, and just, like, God, be nice to Ai. She's awesome.
Right? And because like, it culminates in her, like, literally about to attempt
Kill
suicide.
herself. I know. Oh my God.
And it's like, that's when it, like, it really clicks at, oh shit, this kid's got depression.
This kid's got some problems because people are terrible to her.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm really glad that it's actually considered it's considered better if you don't romance Ai.
Yeah.
Like, I like that hook where it's like, you know, she doesn't really need a boyfriend right now. She just needs a friend.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
she needs someone to just talk to and hang out with. She doesn't need to be in a relationship right now.
Yeah, she just wants somebody who's just gonna, like, talk to her and listen to her and be her friend instead of just trying to get with her. And I just think that's a really nice little moment, you know? That part where she's like, we should date, and it's just kind of like a really pitiful moment where she's like, it's not even like an honest thing where she says, you know, like, she doesn't really want to date Hugh. She just thinks, like, to feel, like, validated as a person, she needs to date somebody.
Yeah, and so, like, it's smarter for you to just be like, no, because, you know, it's not going to end well if we do this.
Yeah, it's not going to help you. So, I mean, it's such a nice little moment. Like,
it is.
Yeah, it's a nice little way to turn it on its head, where it's like, you know, sad girl needs boyfriend to feel good about herself. Well, no, it's more like sad girl needs a friend.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little flip. It's a nice little flip of the way things are. So yeah, I love Ai. I love Ai. She's so good. And all of her, like, her like, in the Golden, you know, you can hang out with your friends at night sometimes, just stand around and talk, which is the most relatable thing in the entire universe, by the way. Like, her conversations are so much fun, because after you do, like, the cross-dressing thing, she's just like, you looked awesome! I'm like, yeah, girl, I did! You damn right I rocked those pigtails! It's so cute, because she's really enthusiastic, and, like, she's just, like, the fun, girly character, you know? Like, I just adore her! Ah! She's so much fun!
She also does get a really good moment in that same episode of the anime that I talked about.
Yes!
Where,
her and Chie?
No, not her and Chie. Later on. In the, well, her and Chie is also really great.
That's
because
hilarious.
That's just hilarious. But she gets a moment later on where, Nanako is doing a little investigation of her own.
Yeah.
I can't remember the plot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's wearing, like, a little detective outfit, and she has,
God.
like, the little magical girl stick. You know, the little magic wand.
Yes.
And, like, I think, like, Ai's scarf gets stuck in a tree.
Yes!
Or something.
Oh, man, it's
and
so
then
cute!
She just, like, she sees Nanako walk by, and she just, like, grabs the little extendo, like, the little staff from her hand, and, like, does a little magical girl twirl, and it extends out, and she uses it to get, like, her scarf down. And it's, like, and it's really cute. And then you think about it, and you realize that Ai Ebihara recognized what that was immediately. And knew that it could extend.
Which means that Ai Ebihara is definitely a fan of Magical Girl Detective Show.
Right?
Like, that's the only logical conclusion, is that Ai Ebihara loves the Magical Girl Detective Show. And I think that's great. Good for you.
It's great.
Good for you, Ai. Alright, next.
Oh
no.
Yumi and Ayane of the Sun Arcana.
No.
Which is... I did Ayane's, like, twice. Or no, I did Yumi's, like, twice, and I did Ayane's once just to see what it was, and I will never do Ayane's again.
Oh, Ayane's is so whatever, and Yumi's is so whatever.
Like, there's not really a lot to talk about, because I think out of all of them, theirs are the most boring.
Theirs is the most boring of all, except... I think Aries is more annoying, but maybe not. I don't know, but I hate Yumi and Ayane's. It's just like, hey, do you want drama, or do you want to help this little kid with her self-esteem issues? Can I pick neither?
Yeah.
Can I do literally anything else for my son's social?
I just want to back out.
Can I just not?
Because all the other school social links are super solid, you know?
They're
All the
really
other classmates
good.
you can hang out with are really good. And then these ones, it's just like, I don't really I don't really feel like I befriended them at the end. I felt like more like a guidance counselor.
Yeah, for sure. I think I like Ayane's a little bit more than Yumi's because Yumi is such a drama queen, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, like, at least Ayane has, like, she has a cute voice. And, like, that's kind of it. She has a cute voice, and her social link isn't so overly dramatic, so it just kind of feels like you're just talking to somebody, and less like, oh god, chill, you know?
Plus, I mean, the visualization of Soji playing, what does he play, the trumpet?
Yes, it's really fun.
Like, out of all the instruments this cool kid could pick...
He picks the trumpet? Really?
Yeah.
I guess that's fine. Also, I do like the visual of teeny tiny little Japanese girl playing a huge trombone. Like, that was pretty funny too. So, like, for those reasons, it's okay. But other than that, I don't got a lot to say. I don't got a lot to say about Yumi and Ayane.
It's really just like, yeah, it is what it is, and like, it's one of those that I'm not super like. It's when you play Persona, you have a hierarchy of social links that, you know, matter more than the others.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like that one's like on the super bottom.
But
like,
at the
no
same
one else has
time,
to be available.
I always prioritize school social links, even Yumi and Ayane, because I want those text messages, man.
Yep.
I want them text messages.
I honestly think theirs would have been better if, like Daisuke and Ko, they were a duo.
Yeah, because they would have been a funny duo. Like, that's a hilarious.
You have Yumi, who is, you know, super like dramatic and over the top
and outgoing and all this good stuff.
And then here's Ayane, who is quiet and meek and little timid, and like if they were friends, they would have been a hilarious dynamic.
Yeah, it's like your perfect, like, you know, goofball and straight man routine. Like,
yeah,
perfect. But they're just so, like, on their own, they don't really shine very well. They're just kind of like, whatever, you do the social link to get text messages and to, you know, fuse a pretty good persona, which I can't remember what the ultimate for the sun is right now, but whatever. You do it for completionist's sake, basically, and to say you did it. But, you know, you're not going to blow anybody's socks off with Yumi and Ayane, so whatever.
Yeah. So next is this weird guy. I mean, I can't remember a lot about his.
Don't do this to me.
It's the Jester Arcana or the Hunger Arcana.
Yeah.
It's Adachi.
Yeah, it's Adachi.
I don't remember a whole lot about him. He's kind of a forgettable character.
Yeah, you're hilarious, dude. Don't do this to me.
Alright, go.
Alright,
go.
It's really fucking good. It's so goddamn necessary, and it's almost criminal that it wasn't in vanilla. Like, it's really bizarre that it wasn't in vanilla, because here's the thing. Like, the deal is that if you only play vanilla, it actually becomes really fucking obvious who the killer is. Because, like, here's this guy, he's got a portrait, but he doesn't have a social link.
Like, it becomes very, very obvious that there's something going on with this guy because he's the only important character besides the shop owners that don't get a portrait. Yeah. And it's not the shop owners.
Like, the shop owners didn't kill anybody.
Well, maybe. We don't know anything about Daidara.
I mean, Daidara might have killed a dude. Frankly, I think Shiroku probably has killed a man or two.
You know, you're not wrong there.
I mean, you know, she's kind of a badass old lady who runs a secret bar at night out of her item shop. How awesome, but... So she's probably killed a dude. But listen, the point is, like, in vanilla, it's super obvious who the killer is because of that. And, like,
What's really weird about Adachi's is that, like, when you played in the Golden, if you've played vanilla, you feel really uncomfortable doing Adachi's social link.
You do.
Because it's like, you know, it's like, hey, let's help Adachi with his weird old lady who keeps giving him cabbages.
Yeah.
And it's like, happy, fun, wacky times! And you're just like, oh god.
Oh no.
This is really awkward.
But it's honestly, like, they could have fucked it up and they didn't. It's actually a really good, it's a good-ass social link.
They did a good job of pretending that you aren't supposed to know he's the killer.
Yeah, and like even, like, the little domestic shit you do before it's like, whoops, this dude you know actually killed 2 people, oh shit. Like, they do a good job of just kind of, like, making it, like, relatable shit, and you're kind of like, oh, so this dude's kind of got some shit going on with him. Like, I don't know. It's a good ass social link. And I wish, again, Persona 5 had used this at least a few times. Haru. I wish they had done this with Haru, is the point I'm getting to. I love that Adachi's social link is like a normal ass social link until a certain point. Like, I think that's really
and then
cool.
It stops being available. And it's one of those things where, like, it's at the point, like, when you first get it to when you, like, stop being able to do it, that, like, it's not immediately obvious that he's not available anymore.
Yeah. Like, that's...
Because if you're pacing it out, like, because players tend to focus on their party members first, and then they focus on, like, you know, their school acquaintances. Like, there's a sort of, like, natural hierarchy. And, like... So by the time you actually get around to doing Adachi's, like... You'll get to the point where you'll kind of realize that, like, oh, well, you don't notice that he's not available anymore.
Yeah, and it's an interesting... I think they do a lot of kind of, like small things that mix up the formula that, again, I wish they would try with other characters in, like, future games. Like, the times he's available are different. Like, sometimes he's available in the day, and sometimes he's available at night. And, like, I don't know, to me, that's just kind of an interesting way to show, like, hey, these people have, like, you know, lives and jobs and stuff. They can't always hang out immediately after school or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I wish it was a thing they had done with other characters. I wish they had done it with Haru, where it's like, she's a normal social link in P5. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to get into it a little bit. I just wish she had been a normal social link at first, and then it's like, after a certain point, she's not available for normal social linking, and then surprise, she's in your party, and now you've got to get social links with her that way. Hey! Please. Guys.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, but yeah, I think Adachi's social link is super good, because it sets it up for the really fucking radical redemption arc he gets in Ultimax, which is, like, vital, because it's the best written, like, redemption arc in the history of redemption arcs.
And it makes him, like, much more connectable as a character.
Yeah.
Like, in the Golden, without making him redeemable.
Yeah, exactly. They never...
Like,
Go ahead.
He still has to earn it by Ultimax.
Exactly, and it's super, like, they don't ever try to make you feel bad for Adachi, but they do kind of make you go like, oh, this guy is your friend, and I'll fight literally anybody on the internet that says Adachi doesn't like the Dojimas and Soji. Bring it on. You can come to my house, homie, and we'll like, throw down in my front yard. I'm white trash enough that I'll fight you in my front yard like any good redneck.
No, but, like, because, like, it is immediately clear that, like, no matter what he's done, and no matter how much of a fucking nihilist prick he is...
It's true.
And he's a gigantic nihilist prick. He is the most nihilist Mara to exist.
Yes.
He has the absolute utmost respect for Dojima.
He likes Dojima! He likes Dojima, and he likes Nanako, damn it. He actually likes those two, I guess because they're as much of a train wreck as him, but, like...
Ah, I see you are also garbage.
I see you're also a mess, and you're screwing your kid up, too. Relatable. Like, and Dojima likes him. Like, there's clearly something likable about this idiot. I don't know what it is, and I'm, like, the biggest fan ever. I can't tell you what it is. But, like... Yeah, it's you know, they add it in the only good parts of the Golden anime are the Adachi episodes, duh. And one of the things they add is he tucks Nanako in. Shut the fuck up, really?
Yeah,
like,
that's
so... That's all you really need to know, is that, like, he likes these characters, he tucked Nanako in, and, like, you know, you just get the sense that it's just, like... There's nothing, like, at all redeemable about, like, what Adachi did, but as a character, they do a good job of selling you on liking him, even as a bad person.
He's a fully realized person, and also he is complete trash.
He's a total monster, for sure. Until Ultimax, where you get, like, again, the best redemption arc ever. Boy, I can't wait to talk about that one day.
It's gonna be a good one.
Literally the highlight of the game. Like, yeah, the rest of Ultimax is really good, but that's, like, the highlight of the game. And you can tell because it was written by a fangirl. Like, literally. I think I've told you that before. Basically, episode of Adachi, I'll bring this up again. Basically, episode of Adachi was written by, like, a huge fan at Axis who just really likes his character, and somebody was like, boy, Adachi's really popular. We should add a DLC story with him. And somebody was like, I got fan fiction.
Well, it's funny because, like, at this point, Atlas has completely abandoned the notion of it being a surprise anymore.
Oh, yeah. At this point, yeah, everybody knows it because it's been 10 years. There's a statute of limitation on spoilers, and it's passed.
Well, like, even when Ultimax was being announced, it's like, look at our DLC character! It's the surprise villain from the last game! And you're like, well, I hope no one watching this wanted to play Persona 4. I hope no one was like, hey buddy, check out this, hey fighting game friend, look at this cool anime game that's coming out. You might be interested in playing the RPG
Oh, huge spoiler. Whoops.
Whoopsie doodle.
Oopsie daisy. But I mean, like, it's just so, I just think, honestly, my favorite thing in the entire universe, my favorite thing is that nobody at Atlas was ready for how popular Adachi would become.
No, they were not.
It is so funny to me. Like, nobody was ready for it. And it just kind of happened out of nowhere. Like, and it took a few years. That's the best part, is it was like a slow burn. Like, you know, like everybody's like, what an asshole. And then like 3 years later, everybody's like, wait, I love this fucking asshole character. Just because... Go ahead.
It's because all the fans grew up and became nihilist pricks, too.
It's so true. Like, honest to God, like, a lot of it is that I turned 25, and, like I've always kind of, liked this shitbag character, but then, like, the older I get, the more I'm like, fuck, the world is garbage. Fuck, what am I saying? Shit. No, like, you start realizing it. You're like, oh my god, I turned 27. I am now older than Adachi was in P4.
So, like, what you gotta do is you gotta turn it around and you gotta be the radical nihilist instead.
Yeah, for sure.
The one who skateboards off a ramp screaming nothing matters.
Nothing matters! That means I can do whatever I want. Yeah, exactly. Like, but yeah. And like
now I'm imagining Adachi wearing radical 90s football or like skateboard pads and doing a kickflip and going, nothing matters.
Again, I think that's the resolution of his Ultimax storyline.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But and like one other thing is that I'm super glad they added in Golden is the confrontation inside the TV where it's just the two of you.
Yeah, adding the possibility of the accomplice ending is really, really good, and the accomplice ending is a fantastic addition.
Not just the accomplice ending, but the rank 8 scene. For his social link, where Soji goes to talk to him alone inside the TV, is like probably one of the better scenes in the whole like game. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like really tense, and it's kind of like this weird moment where you're like, you know, can you win this guy? No, of course you can't, because he's an asshole.
No.
But
it would screw over the rest of the game if you won him over. It would screw up
the rest of the game, but it's kind of like, you know, it's like, hey, I really, like, trusted you, and, like, it pisses him off, because it's like, I never asked you to trust in me. Like, I never asked you to put those expectations on me, and I think it pisses him off because, like, nobody's ever put expectations on him, and now it's kind of like, do I feel guilty? Do I not? I don't know. It's a really good-ass scene. And I would love it if you could just please remake Persona 4 on the 5 engine Atlas, because that scene is good, but kind of looks goofy with those old character models.
Yeah.
Those old models didn't hold up really good.
Also, it still uses the old Adachi portraits, which are the most unintentionally funny things in the goddamn world.
Fucking hilarious.
I remember the first time I played P4 on the PS2, and I was talking to you when it happened. And I'm like, oh my god, Adachi, like, this is so tense. And then I saw his little frowny face.
His weird, like, half-moon frowny face that makes, it's like,
I don't like it.
I don't even know how to make my face do that. Like, your faces don't work that way.
He's like doing a really bad Sylvester Stallone scowl. And it's just like, he looks like a literal emoticon, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, I am now taken out of
totally
the
taken out
tense
of it.
drama of it.
And I like that Atlas realized how fucking stupid they were, because they redrew them for Ultimate
Yeah.
X.
And he's also got that, not only does he have the super frowny face, he's got that really sleazy used car salesman smile.
Oh, I know.
And that one is almost as bad.
It's almost as bad, but truly.
He looks drunk.
Oh, for sure. They're so terrible. Like, and the one they added for the Golden, which is like the crazy laugh face, is incredible. And you only get it in the accomplice ending, which is like good, but also slightly nonsensical. Like, I love the accomplice ending because I love bad endings, but it's not a very good bad ending. Like, a good bad ending, because I'm never going to shut up about it until you watch it, is Sparks Liner High. Which is Fate Stay Night. A bad ending is the accomplice ending, because it just kind of happens out of nowhere. Like, and you're just like, okay, sure.
It's one of those things where it's like, where you always get those weird choices, like, in a lot of JRPGs, where it's like, the villain is like, haha, betray everything right now, do it. And the only time that's a good idea is in the Paper Mario series.
Right?
Because in the Paper Mario series, if you say yes, you get a game over.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and then Mario helped them conquer the world. The end.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Shit? What? What?
Yeah, that's about it. Because, like, as, like, an idea, the accomplice ending is great, because that scene is awesome, and it's weirdly the only cutscene where Adachi actually gets an animated cutscene in the entire game, which is really strange. But, like, when you think about it for more than 5 minutes, you're like, there's literally no reason for this to happen. Except for, like, it's a fan service thing, and, like, I appreciate that, but at the same time, like, you could have made it work a little bit better somehow. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where, like, it's clearly added to appease a certain part of the fan base, and it's something they did not put their effort into in comparison to the rest of the Golden's edition.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, the accomplice ending is pure fan service for all the crazy people, including myself. Don't get me wrong.
It was super low on the priority list for them. Like, it was very clearly like, it was like, whatever, we'll do it. We have a week. We have what, a week? We can program that. Whatever.
We can put that shit in. No big deal. We'll do we can record a few new lines. It got an episode. It got a little bonus ending for the Golden anime. It was pretty good. The animation kind of was a little janky, like in everything Persona anime related. Why? Can we get a good Persona 4 anime, please?
That's not made by David Pro?
Oh my god, please. Please.
Or actually, you know what? Make it by David Pro. I don't know. Fuck. They're stylish. They could do it.
I'm sure they could handle it, for sure. They know how to do adaptations, it turns out. So yeah, fuck it. Let them
It'll
do it.
It'll be the most accurate adaptation ever.
Oh my god. Every single day. It would just be 365 episodes.
It would be every day of the anime, of the game. As a one final note, my favorite thing ever is in Super Paper Mario. They do that same gag, but it's at the very beginning of the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it is, a wizard asks you, hey, do you want to save the world? And you have your yes or no. And, like, it's set up as one of those, say no, and you're like, oh, come on, do it. If you say no, he's like, okay, and then the game ends.
Oh, great. Perfect. I love it.
And you're like a half hour in. Great.
Great. Thanks, game.
Okay, so we got one more.
Yeah, one more. We've been pretty quick about this. Hell yeah. Look at us.
Yeah. Fucking fight me.
Maria's best girl.
Marie's great. Marie is great. The Aeon. She's great. I love her.
I love Marie. I do. I love Marie. She's goofy. I like her shitty design. Like, I love her big stupid hat.
I love it because she does look terrible, but she looks like every, like, emo teen who dresses themselves,
Absolutely. For sure.
It's like, yeah, she looks terrible. Like, she dressed herself.
And she's a moody god thing? Question mark?
Yeah, goddess, like, incarnation thing. Like, I love the idea that she just showed up at the limo and Igor was like, okay.
We'll get in. Alright, I guess you're riding with us now. I like that Margaret really clearly doesn't like her.
Yeah, Margaret is very clearly uncomfortable at sharing the space with her.
Yeah, because Marie is such a moody brat that Margaret is just like, And I like that she retaliates by scattering Marie's poems to embarrass her.
Oh, that poor girl has no talent. She tries her best.
She's really not good.
I do like the like phase she went through where she started writing like hip hop lyrics.
Yes. Every moody little teenager is like, I can do rap. Mm-hmm. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Nope. Hilarious.
She's so great, and
and I just love that her social link is all about like hanging out with the rest of your friends.
Yeah, and it's really cool because it's dynamic. Yeah. Because it changes depending on who is actually on your team at the time. Yeah,
exactly. It's so good. Like, you can't keep ranking Marie up until you get Kanji on your team or whatever. Like, that's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I just like to see... They do a good job in the game. I'll get to the anime in a minute. Yeah. Oh boy, I'll get to the anime in a minute. They do a good job of including a new character, finger quotes, who is like... You know, when they do that thing, like in like anime movies, where they're like, here's this new character, and we expect you to care about them, even though they're just like an anime movie original character, and they're not going to be around, you know? And it's just kind of like, we're going to force this character in, and you're going to like them, damn it, and see, everybody's hanging out with them, and it just doesn't work, you know?
She very much avoided being Poochie.
Yeah, for sure. You know? She didn't get Poochied at all. She got to be, they do a good job of just showing her hanging out with everybody and being Soji's really weird friend.
Yeah. She did kind of get Poochied, but they turned it into a plot point where it's like, wait, no, for real, where is Marie?
Yeah. And her dungeon is the best dungeon in the game.
Her
oh my
dungeon
God.
It is like, because every P4 dungeon is basically the same.
Pretty much, yeah.
Besides, like, the video, or, fucking what's his name's? Mitsuo's. And, like, there are some kind of puzzles in Adachi's.
Yeah, not
but, like,
really. Oh, we didn't even talk about how good Magatsu Mandala.
Magatsu Mandala is a fucking great place, and, like, holy shit, what a setting for your not quite final boss.
Oh, it's so good. I just had to, like,
great.
I had to get that off my chest, because, like, this talk reminded me of that. But Magatsu Inaba / Magatsu Mandala looks fucking awesome. It is so foreboding, and it is so aggressive, and it is... Man, I can't believe I missed it. It is the perfect follow-up to Nanako's dungeon because it's another open-air dungeon.
But it's all fucking twisted up.
It's in hell. It's basically in hell compared to Nanako's being in heaven. It's the perfect follow-up because it is just like heaven. Heaven is like, like I said, all the other dungeons are hallways because you get a ceiling over your head. Magatsu Inaba and Magatsu Mandala don't have that. It is another open-air dungeon, and surprisingly, also Marie's is open-air.
But, like, as great as, like, Magatsu Mandala's is, like, fucking Marie's
the Hollow Forest is so good. Best music, best dungeon, best, like, not
it's got
puzzles,
it's got that gimmick, which is actually, like, it's one of those things where, like, we kind of talked about this, like, very briefly in the Dishonored video episode, where, like, when you strip away mechanics, you have to do it in a way that makes it more, like, makes it an entertaining challenge and not a punishment.
Right.
Persona is a game that, like, for the most part, really actively, like, encourages you to finish battles as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it introduces the down system, because it designs to get you the all-out attacks, which will more than likely finish off your opponents.
Right.
Like, and then you play the Hollow Forest, and suddenly you're at a point where your HP and your SP keep going down after battles, but you have recovery attached for every round you go through.
Right.
And so now it's like, And, like, the enemies in it are tough, and they don't really have, like, the standard weaknesses you'd expect. And it's like, if you want to recover, you're going to have to strategize and, like, think things through.
Yeah. And
delay your turns sometimes to actually make sure you can heal up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, it's really... And it's like you said, it's not tedious and it's not a punishment, but it's definitely a way to kind of test how good you are at this game. Like, how good are you at battle management is what it basically boils down to. And it's a really good little test to just kind of show, like, how capable you are at playing Persona 4, basically. You know?
And, you know, it doesn't, like, strip you of your Persona abilities, which, you know, would be, like, would be too far. Like, if you lost the ability to do the wild card, or you lost some of your skills, like, that'd be too far. You still have access to all of your, you know, fighting ability, but you have to consider your options now.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's you know, it would only work in the Golden, which is interesting, because, like, the reason it works is because Rise is a more active member of your party in the Golden.
Yeah,
so
and she can
heal you and do things like that.
So, like, it's super helpful that way, and it's just such a unique, like, thing. And her dungeon is, like, one of the more... It's a lot like Nanako's, which is it's one of the much more personal dungeons, because the party recruit dungeons are you're fighting for someone you've kind of met very briefly. And, you know, then you recruit them and then they become your friend. But, like, Nanako's and Marie's is you're working to save someone that you've gotten to know throughout this entire game.
Yeah.
And so it feels much more personal. It feels much more like, you know, you actively want to go and help them. Like, and Marie's is great because, you know, Nanako's, you know, mostly players like, I'm going to day one this dungeon because it's Nanako. It is my baby sister. I need to save her now. Marie's forces you to do one day. You only get one shot.
Yeah, you only get one shot to get this right, buddy. And again, that's another way to kind of tie your hands and to test how good you are at Persona 4, basically, is to say, like, well, if you've played the game this much, you should be able to day one a dungeon. And so the question is, like, have you learned anything from playing this game for 80 hours before this? And most people have, God willing. And so you can kind of fight your way through it. And the final boss fight is super good because her Kasumi no Akami monster design is amazing. And like, I just love the stages, and I love the whole managing your SP thing. It just feels like a really good challenge, and it's fun to play, and just, oh man, best music.
Oh, I was about to say, that's got the best like boss theme in the game.
Ever.
Holy
oh my
fuck.
God, it's so good.
So good.
It's so good. And the Hollow Forest theme, like, when you're walking around in the dungeon, is so good. Oh,
again, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I don't want to hear Reach Out to the Truth.
No.
Like, no, you're cutting off the cool music.
It's so awesome. And just, and I love the way it's designed. I love the flower petals falling. I love the little pieces of Inaba scattered all over. I just love these little details everywhere that just make it feel like a very personal dungeon compared, like, you know, like Heaven is a very, it's kind of the same idea, but just the Hollow Forest takes it to another level, where it feels very much like this is the place inside someone's heart, and you're just trying to really get in as deep as you can. And just the setting is so cool with all the little doll things. I can't even think of what they're called right now, but they're really cool. like the entrance to the Hollow Forest, where you're standing around and it's like in the middle of the woods, and it's just really
yes
cool. Oh my God, it looks so good, right?
It does.
Oh, it's so pretty. Just this big, it's like, it is when the Golden is its prettiest, when you realize this game is still, like, damn good looking. Even
really
with its
good.
goofy character models, like, it's still damn good looking. And, like, because just the dolls scattered over, and the entrance to Marie's, like, tomb is so huge. Persona's really good about scale, by the way.
Yeah.
By using the idea of, like, a giant place as, like, a foreboding. Like, the size of a place is what makes it so foreboding. The size of a monster. The final boss in P5, then the final boss in P4, you know, they use this idea of, here is Oh, shut the fuck up. I hate rednecks and their loud ass trucks. Anyways, like, they do a good job of showing the scale and using that to show, like, you are literally humans against these literal larger than life figures in these larger than life settings, and it makes it feel like this huge insurmountable thing. And the idea is, of course, that you've got the willpower to overcome. And the Persona games and Megaten in general actually have a really good grasp of using that scale to impose itself on the player, and Marie's is a good example of that, when you're walking into her tomb and it's this giant dome area thing, and you feel like a speck in front of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, man.
So good. Marie's great. I love her.
Marie is great, but fuck Marie in the golden anime. Oh my god, go away!
Yeah. Now that's character shilling.
That's character shilling. Marie went to the beach with us, and Marie played in the fucking concert with us. And shut the fuck up. Go away. Like
Marie was great because she appeared when you wanted her to appear.
Exactly. She appeared when you wanted to see her. You did her social link,
and when you chose to, like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate it so much. And the fucking
like shilling would have been like she's a mandatory social link.
Yeah, exactly. But no, she's not.
No, she's just another addition, and she just adds another cool bonus dungeon, and she's just a fun character.
Oh, I hate the golden anime so fucking much. Like so much of it is so bad, and it just reminds me that we're never getting a good Persona anime ever. Persona 4 anime ever.
Yeah.
And that's
maybe
just a fact of life.
Maybe we'll get a good 5 anime.
Well, I heard the Daybreakers is pretty cool. I should go watch it at some point. But, like, yeah, whatever. Fuck the golden anime. And Marie is amazing. Marie is super fun, and she's fun to play as in Ultimax, and I really like her. And fuck you, she's great. Like, I love my moody little goth child, and people who don't like Marie can fight me. Yeah.
Oh. Man, Persona 4 is a really fucking good game.
God, Persona 4 is so fucking flawless. Like, what the fuck? Even with the 3 kind of, like, meh social links in Persona 4, like, overall, this game is basically perfect. Like...
Because you just don't do them.
You just don't do them. You just don't have to do them. That's the best part. Yeah. You don't even have to do them. If you don't like them, there's no reason to do them.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. It's so... Everybody is so relatable, and everybody is just so fucking... All of the stories are good, and you want the good social links. You really want to know what happens next. That's the crazy part, is when you get deep into, like, all of these social links, and, like, suddenly you've got, like, 5 people at rank 7 or 8, it's like, I don't know which one to do, because all of them are good.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's so good. Persona 4 is so fucking good. Like,
I fucking love Persona 4.
I'm not done fucking talking about this game.
No, of course we're not.
No.
We've got for sure one more podcast in us about Persona 4. Mm-hmm. We could probably do another one.
Probably.
Like, if, who is it you keep talking to about it in the other chat?
Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah.
If Saturn wants to join us for another P4 cast, like...
Yeah. God, sure, yeah. I'll invite them for sure, see what they think.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but otherwise, like, man, I just love talking about Persona 4. I love talking about these shitty characters and the good characters. And I just, now that I've beaten P5 and I'm probably going to beat it again, I'm probably going to go play Persona 4 again. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's like...
Yeah. But we should be talking about P5 soon.
We should. We're going to do a break next week.
Woohoo!
Because the week after will actually be as close as we're going to get to our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, look at us.
Yeah.
I'm so proud. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're making it.
We're making it happen. Oh. Well, alright. So we'll probably talk about P5 then. That sounds like a good one.
P5 will be that. And we'll,
yes.
We're gonna have Saturn on that too from Big Gay Nerds.
Yay! Happy P5, everyone. And God, I love Persona 4. Alright. Fuck, I love P4. Okay.
So, thanks to Broke for free for use of our background music. Link to his work in the description. You can follow us on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can email us about Persona 4 or Persona 5 at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. We have a Tumblr, thegorgepodcast.tumblr.com.
We don't use
I'm going to try to use that more often. And, like... post like follow-up thoughts on stuff and whatever, but that'll happen. What about your other podcast, Sarah?
Hey, I'm in another podcast. It's called Big Gay Nerds. It's an LGBT RPG live play podcast where me and a bunch of friends sit around and play various types of tabletop games every week. We try to mix it up. It's a lot of fun. You should come listen to it. It's on SoundCloud at Big Gay Nerds. We're on Twitter at Big Gay Nerds, and we're on Tumblr at Big Gay Nerds. We make it easy. You should come listen to us because it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a perfect one.
All right, you did it.
I did it. I didn't fuck it up. What else? Is that it?
I think that'll be it for us.
Fuck the golden anime.
Fuck the golden anime.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the golden anime. It's so bad.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.